Welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning on Channels Television, and today on the program we're looking at Nigeria's sugar market. It's also an industry, a subsector that is also very important to the general economy, and I'll be speaking with two gentlemen. Dr. Durand Akinleye, he's a lecturer with the Department of Economics, University of Lagos, and Dr. Mande Samaila, he's also a lecturer with the National Open University of Nigeria. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Well, let's just start by looking at the state of the industry in Nigeria. How would you rate it as a sugar industry now?
Thank you, viewers. I must say that looking at the sugar industry in Nigeria, it is an industry that, when exploited effectively, will indeed lead towards the development and improve our own economy in Nigeria. However, here is a sector that over time have been bedeviled with a lot of crises, ranging from not attending to the sector in terms of having support, agricultural support for it. And then apart from that, we've realized that it is a sector that, if you look at it critically based on the available statistics, the importation of sugar in Nigeria is about 98%. And then then 2%, which is the one that has to do with our own self-sufficiency level in this country. So what that means is that this is a sector that needs high level of support. And so for us to make our own economy healthy in this country, we have to try as much as we can to see how we can galvanize the required support that is needed in this sector. Now, what are some of the things we are talking? Because the truth of the matter is that if you have a product in the country, for example, we're now talking about the sugar product, the next thing we have to talk about is the beneficiaries of the product. Is the market available in Nigeria? Certainly the market is there. And if the market is there, what can we do towards our own self-sustenance in this country? So that, because we are talking about reducing the level of importation, because there is a sector, part of the effort to see what they can do, so that at least there will be a way of promoting the sector, is attaching the import duty of 60% of whoever is going to import sugar in Nigeria. So what we need to do is that the agricultural sector needed to be effectively deregulated and needed to be effectively empowered. And as a result of this area, so what I'm trying to say basically is that there is high level and gap in terms of promotion of that sector.
But then, let me just cut you now, Dr. Samaila. We know that for 2012, or before the beginning of 2013, the federal government started a ban on importation of refined sugar. That's the one that is already processed, because we wanted to encourage the local farmers of sugarcane and the rest of it to increase their own output to the market. Now, you've already mentioned that so many things, or you mentioned some of the things, that's increase in import duty and the rest of it. Apart from that one, that's the increase in import duty, is the environment, or has the environment been conducive for these farmers to apply their trade?
Yeah, let me say that. Let me respond to your question in that area. So to say, the environment has not been completely, or rather relatively conducive for the farmers, because most of the sugarcane farmers have problem of not knowing where to the lack of industrial buyers of their product, because sugarcane, it's not just those that will buy it and start licking it on the road as we have commonly in this area, but we are talking about the possibility of the gap of the sugarcane farmers not getting the industrial buyers. We have people, like the Nigerian bottling company in Nigeria, ordinarily supposed to have absolute consumption of our own local production, but they rely mostly on, most of their products are foreign products, and that's what we have here. The sugarcane farmers needs to have the market where the production of their product will now be effectively patronized. Okay. And apart from that, there is lack of, so to say, consumers board, or rather the sugarcane farmers board, whereby if we have such a board, the board will not effectively be regulated and positioned in such a way that the production of sugar that we have in this country, the buyers will be there. Because it's not just for us to talking about sugarcane and all this, the market must be available, and then the buyers must be ready, because if you have a sure market for your product, you definitely embark on emphasizing on the production of it. But when you don't have a ready buyer for it, that becomes a problem, and they needed to be organized properly. I'm aware that yes, the federal government has made effort in that area, because with the establishment of the national sugarcane master plan, which is a commendable effort by the federal government of Nigeria to see the possibility of promoting that sector. That there is no doubt about that. Would they equally need to be given credit facility so that the farmers will be encouraged? Because if the credit facility is not given to them, it becomes very difficult for them to now be motivated towards that sector.
Okay.
So they needed to be given a credit facility. And apart from that, we're talking about, of course, there are other challenges that has to do with credit facilities and other aspects that we need to do in that area.
Dr. Akinleye, let's look at Akinleye. Let's look at the consumption of the commodity, which we know has increased, and already Dr. Samaila has actually pointed that out. Now, is enough being done to reduce the importation of this product? I know he already mentioned it, and I already said so about the increase of the tariff and the rest of it. But what else is being done to ensure that we have enough to the extent that we will need to be importing? Because as of last year, it shows that sugar production was about 65,000 tons and consumption rose to about 1.3 million.
Okay, well, when you discuss sugarcane, it's actually a tale of paradoxes. In 2002, there was a denationalization, or rather privatization, of the sugar mills. That's one. Between 2002 and last year, there was an increase in sugarcane output. Unfortunately, accompanying the increase in sugarcane output has been a reduction in yield. And so when you say you need to do A or you need to do B, sometimes it really does not always work that way. I'll go back to the Sugar Master Plan, which he alluded to. Last year, the federal government then decided to embark on what we call backward integration, in which instance, by and large, the control of the sugarcane industry is being handed to the private sector. Okay, for example, let me draw another. Most of the production of sugarcane in Nigeria is in Kano, Sokoto, Jigawa, Yobe, Adamawa, thereabouts. However, all of the refineries are situated someplace around Kwara and maybe Kogi State. And so when you look at the distances that this has to go through to get to the mills, it then kind of explains to you why there's such a great distance between 100% consumption and 10% production. So with Sugar Master Plan, what the federal government is looking at is to empower the private sector to start to go to the roots, to motivate farmers by whatever means to produce specifically for the needs of the industry. Now, when you have a situation where output is increasing but yield is decreasing, first and foremost, it means that the cultivars that are being grown are very poor. Okay, the seeds, if I may use a normal language, the cultivars that are used are very poor, which means even when you grow more, you're not necessarily getting, commensurate increase. You also need to appreciate the fact that sugarcane is a very hardy crop and can grow on marginal lands, given adequate water. And so the kind of water we see all over the place, and you say, oh, this is marshland and all that, you put sugarcane there, it will thrive. No other crop can do that. And so what the government is aiming to do beyond, when you talk about import and all of that, import duties, look, we need sugar. We take carbonated soft drinks, we take beverages, we take a whole lot of things. All of these need to have sugar. And so if the local production is less than adequate, then there's nothing you can do but to import. And so what's happening with the Sugar Master Plan is to take it out of the bureaucracy and to look for a means to motivate farmers from the grassroots to grow for industrial purposes.
In terms of, in a bit to, make them, or encourage them to grow the sugar cane, has there been effective or good incentives?
That's a policy that's less than 6 months old. It's not up for appraisal yet. So let's let it mature. I'm talking about policy, I think that was July last year. So I think we should give it time to mature. But I know what's happening right now is that there's a removal of import duties on what's it called, sugar refining machinery, which is status. So, and I think Dangote has come out to pledge some millions of dollars or billions of dollars or something on building a new refinery. But for now, the jury is still out. Let's give it time. And we're told that anytime from 2015 to 2018, we should see what's starting to happen.